We're pleased to be joined for the first time by Senator Bailey Hutchison. She has served in the U.S. Senate since June of 1993 when she won a special election. She won a full 6-year term the following year and was re-elected in 2000 and 2006. An advocate of term limits, she decided not to run for a 4th term. She's the only woman who has ever represented Texas in the Senate. Welcome to Newsmax, Senator.
Thank you, Ashley. I'm so glad to be here.
Okay, you're out there with a plan to save Social Security. You call the Defend and Save Social Security Act. You say it would save $416 billion over the next 10 years. How would it do that?
Well, clearly we are in a crisis that we can meet now with gradual changes. If we wait, the Social Security trustees say that in 2036, the bottom falls out. They will have to cut benefits 23%. Now, we can avoid that by the plan that I have put forward, which does not raise taxes on anyone, and it never cuts core benefits. What it does is raise the age gradually, 3 months a year, starting in 2016, so that the age will be 69 in 2027 for retirement. The early retirement age would go to 64 in 2023. So you would gradually, 3 months a year over that period of time to 2023 and 2027. And that will make Social Security solid for 75 years. In addition, you would lower the cost of living increase by 1%. So if inflation is 2% and it's averaged over 2% over the last 10 years, you would get a cost of living adjustment after 1%. So that lowers the cost of living, but it never ever lowers the core benefit, and that was my goal.
We should point out that your plan does not affect anyone 58 years old or older. How does it differ from the plan introduced in April by fellow Republicans Rand Paul, Mike Lee, and Lindsey Graham?
The other bill that was introduced earlier would take the retirement age to 70, and it would means test benefits starting at a salary or income of $43,000. And so it's there are some good parts of that plan, and I think that where none of us are wedded to exactly what we have put forth. I think mine has fewer real hardships. I don't want to increase taxes on anyone, no employer, no employee. That's certainly not what you do in a hard economic time. But secondly, I don't want to cut core benefits for anyone if we can avoid it.
All right, you know the numbers. They're not on your side in the Senate, won't be for the remainder of your term. Does your plan stand any chance of passage in the Democrat-dominated Senate, or is this just an attempt to get the ball rolling to fix the problem?
Well, Ashley, it's both. I want to get the ball rolling. Someone has to do it, and everyone has been waiting for the other person to do it. So Senator Kyle of Arizona and I have introduced this bill, so we are getting the ball rolling. However, the Biden group is trying to make the reforms by cutting discretionary spending to get the votes to raise the debt ceiling. It is my opinion that we will not raise the debt ceiling unless there are real spending cuts. But once you look at the discretionary side of spending, which is only 40% of our overall expenditures, you just can't get enough cuts to do what's necessary to keep us from hitting that debt ceiling again. You've got to cut the deficits. And the way we would do it is a very gradual, slow the rate of growth. You don't cut core benefits, but you've got to hit the entitlements with the slowing the rate of growth if you're going to really get our fiscal house in order and save Social Security for the future.
You say you favor privatization of Social Security. Why wasn't some aspect of that included in your plan?
I just didn't think that that would be able to pass at all, even though I agree with it, and I think we ought to have more options for savings in the future so that people get a real nest egg and they are better able to handle retirement. but I couldn't do it in this plan and expect any kind of ability to pass this bill.
Another issue you've spoken out on, Obamacare. You're proposing what you call Save the States Healthcare Act. Please tell us what it is and what its goal is.
Well, we have now this Obama healthcare that more and more people are trying to get out of. They're trying to get waivers for it. And we know that it's in the courts and the constitutionality has been challenged. So why would we let our states and our businesses spend hundreds of millions of dollars, probably billions, implementing a bill that I think is flawed and I hope will be declared unconstitutional, but why would we spend the billions implementing the bill if it is going to be declared unconstitutional? Why not take a pause and let the states put a moratorium on implementing this bill? They don't have the option of doing that right now because there are fines if the bill is declared constitutional for not doing the implementation. So the only way that we can give them relief is my Save Our States Act, SOS, which would save the states the money that they're now spending on this implementation of a bill that I hope is unconstitutional.
You challenged Texas Governor Rick Perry in a primary in March of last year. In November, he was re-elected governor. In your opinion, how is the state of Texas doing under his leadership?
Well, the state of Texas is doing great, and it's because of things that have been done through past governors as well. We have a right-to-work state. We have a state that doesn't have a state income tax, and we have good tort reform that was started with Governor George Bush. And so I think that Texas has put in place, really for the last 60 years, a pro-business climate that has attracted jobs for our state. And I think that a lot of governors have kept that in place, and I think Texas is the best place to do business in America.
And finally, looking back at your 18 years in the Senate to date, what do you consider your greatest accomplishment?
Well, certainly the spousal IRA, which has allowed stay-at-home moms and dads save for their retirement security. I have worked to strengthen NASA and our space exploration, and I think we've been successful there. I've worked very hard for the marriage penalty tax to be erased, and we've been able to do that for the last 5 years. And I think that people shouldn't have to pay more taxes when they get married, and I was successful in that. So those are some of the things that I have done that I think are going to be important for the long term.
Texas Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ashley.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.